What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy SB back with another banger. Now, I know that I'm a little late and I missed the kickoff of the NFL season. That's my fault. But I'm here to catch up. And the best way to do that is 30-second speed run. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to give myself 30 seconds to talk about the first 4 weeks for each team in the NFL. Now, it doesn't matter what part of the conversation I'm at. 30 seconds and 30 seconds. So whenever the 30 seconds up, it's going to cut off mid-sentence. Or if I'm able to wrap it up, some teams I might not even have 30 seconds worth to say on. There's a couple of teams that ain't even worth to be talked about for 30 seconds. So this should be a fun video. We should be able to cover some of the bases over the first 4 weeks of the season. And then I'll be caught up. So if this is the type of content you guys like, make sure you hit the like button. If you ain't subscribed yet, what you waiting on? Either than that, let's get into the video. The Miami Dolphins have been a bit of disappointment so far this season, but we can't give them too much flack. They have been missing their starting quarterback, and Jacoby Brissett just ain't it. He hasn't looked like he's been it for a while now, but we can't give them too much judgment until they get Tua back, and then we can judge on what type of team that they have. As far as their defense goes, the defense have been solid. They all wide receiver youth, so they have plenty of talent at wide receiver. I'm looking forward to see what they can do in this division, and they still haven't played in a division that has the Jets. The New England Patriots and Mac Jones have been a pleasant surprise this season. Mac Jones has looked like he's going to be the future of the Patriots and going to be a very good quarterback in the NFL. But I think he only goes as far this season as the Patriots only go as far as he's willing to take them this season. I think a lot of injuries on their defense has hampered them quite a bit, and they still have a lack of playmakers on the outside. But I do got a lot of respect for Kendrick Bourne. This team's going to be on their way, just not ready just yet. Jets. Boy, do they look wrong about Zach Wilson now. Oh my gosh. He's probably been the worst rookie of them all so far. But it's early. They got a new quarterback, new head coach. But as of right now, the Jets just look atrocious. They look bad. They need a lot more help. And they need to give Zach Wilson a little more protection. He's going through his progression. He's going through his learning lumps as a rookie quarterback in this league. But I think he's going to be better in the future than when the Buffalo Bills have been dominant. They've been one of the best teams in the NFL, and it shows. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. He has all the weapons that he needs, and that pickup of Emmanuel Sanders has worked wonders for them. Their defense has been one of the best defenses in the NFL. And as of right now, they look like they're one of the biggest Super Bowl threats, especially to come out of the AFC. They have a tough matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday, so we'll get to see who stays some dominance here in this conference. The Cincinnati Bengals have been a pleasant surprise this season. They sit at the top of one of the toughest divisions in the NFL, and they deserve to be there. Joe Burrow has looked like he did not tear his ACL last year. He's come back with a vengeance. They got a lot of flack for taking a wide receiver so high in the draft, but Jamar Chase has been a dog all season. So they look like they've been a pleasant surprise. Their defense is a little inconsistent. They show up when they need to show up and get stops when they need to get stops. This Bengal team is going to. The Baltimore Ravens are having quite a weird season so far. They got struck with the injury bug at the running back position pretty early in the season, and they've been trying to play catch up ever since then. It's been a little different seeing the Lamar Jackson that we've gotten so far this season, but it is early, and he has shown up in some big spots like that Chiefs game. As long as they have him, they're going to be competitive. Their receivers need to be better, but the defense has definitely been solid and got them a lot of jams. The Browns have been good. They've been solid, and they've been able to win some really tough games throughout the first 4 weeks. They put themselves right in the thick of it with those other two teams that I just mentioned. And those teams are tied for the best record at the top at 3-1. I think the Browns, as long as they can continue to run the ball and play through their two-headed monster at running back, they're going to be straight. Losing Jarvis Landry early in the season sucks, but it looks like Odell Beckham is going to be back. Cincinnati Bengals have been the best surprise. Then the Pittsburgh Steelers have been the most disappointing. It seems like they're a shell of themselves as a team, and not to mention their quarterback. Probably should have retired when we first thought about it. If retirement crossed your minds, then it's kind of time for you to hang it up. But I have a lot of confidence in Big Ben. He's a veteran. I think he can bounce back and turn on this season around and at least get them in the wild card standing. But they're going to have to do it soon because their schedule is not going to get any. The Tennessee Titans have been inconsistent at best this season. There's times where they look dominant, beating the Seahawks, and then there's times where they lose to the Jets in overtime. They picked up Julio Jones. He's been hurt. Their best wide receiver is A.J. Brown. He's been hurt. And I don't think there's any point in time where I can name more than one receiver that's on the field at any point in time for them. But I can't tell you who's behind the quarterback waiting to run the ball. And as long as they got that monster back there, they're going to be competitive. And there's not much hope you can say about the Houston Texans at this point. Eventually, they will trade their star quarterback. The quarterback that they brought in to be the quarterback for the season got hurt very early. And the rookie that they drafted in the 3rd round has looked like he should have been drafted in the 7th round. But there's not a lot to say for them to be 2nd place in the division right now. Tyrod will come back eventually, and that gives them a little bit of hope. But the best thing about this team is that the defense has been highly improved. So shout out to Lovie Smith for that. He's been hit pretty hard with injuries. Quentin Nelson has went to the IR, which is unfortunate. He's one of the best linemen in the league. And you got Carson Wentz playing on 2 bum ankles. They've really been disappointing. I know they didn't expect to be 1-3 right now. But the injuries have made the offense look like shells of themselves. But thank God for their defense. Their defense has been playing very solid this season and has been looking like one of the top 10 defenses in the NFL. And that's going to keep them in the Jacksonville Jaguars haven't won a game all season. Their rookie quarterback finally starting to come to his own, like he's finally starting to get it a little bit. But their team is not ready. They're just not ready as a team as of right now. Urban Meyer doesn't look like he's ready to be an NFL coach. He looks like he's still trying to run a college offense out there, and it's just not going to work. I don't know how hard it is to feed the ball to James Robinson. I don't know how hard it is to come up with a defensive scheme. The Las Vegas Raiders are 3-0 right now, undefeated. And I don't think anyone in the preseason would have thought that. And also, I don't think that anyone in the preseason would expect Derek Carr to be playing like an MVP right now. I think that right now, at this point in the moment, he deserves to be in that discussion. He's using his wide receivers to his benefit, and he's been slinging the ball all over the place and making very little mistakes. I give a lot of credit to David Carr for the Raiders' success. The LA Chargers have been solid, very solid this season. I love what they've been able to put on tape, and I love the jump that Justin Herbert's been able to make this season. He definitely makes them a different team. They have 2 solid wide receivers on the outside to throw the ball to and a solid running back, and this defense shows up for big games. They have pieces all over the field that makes them very talented on both sides of the ball. So I think that the Chargers are going to be an AFC playoff team, and they're going to be a very dangerous. The Broncos have been solid. They've looked good. They recently just broke the rushing record on Sunday, and Teddy Bridgewater has been a revelation for them. He's come in, made a difference, and he's throwing the ball all around to those receivers and that tight end that they have very talented. But at the end of the day, this team's hanging their hat on their defense. And their defense is what's been showing up and stopping everybody. They have a no-fly zone going on out there, and they've looked very solid. They're going to be a threat, but ultimately, the national news talks a lot about the Chiefs being last in the division. They talk a lot about them being 2-2. But as an NFL fan, I know better. I know better. This Chiefs team is way too talented on offense to stay at the bottom of a division that they should be dominating. But I will say this, their defense is a problem. And it's been a problem for a long time. They can't outscore every team in this league. And with the emergence of the Chargers and the Raiders in their own division, they're going to have to get it together very fast. The Dallas Cowboys are number 1 in their division. And while that doesn't say a lot, it does at the same time. It says quite a bit. They've been dominant in the NFC, and they've played some good teams, and they've looked good against those good teams. And they've been able to come out of this tough patch at 3-1, one of the best teams in the NFC. I'm not ready to say that they're going to be a playoff threat, but I am ready to say that they're going to be a playoff team. And if they can stay healthy on both sides of the ball, they're going to be a force for someone. The New York Giants are coming along. They're getting better. Saquon gets more and more healthy with every game. Daniel Jones gets more and more consistent with every game. And that's all that they can really ask for. The defense needs to be a little better. They got too many talented players for their defense to be giving up these big scores like they do. But I think the Giants are going to be one of the teams that's going to push the Cowboys towards the end of the season, as it usually happens and as it usually does. I don't think we can pick the team that's... The Philadelphia Eagles have been puzzling, troubling over the first 4 weeks. There's some games where Jalen Hurts looks like a stud, looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Then there's some games where he looks like Jalen Hurts. I compare it to him being in Alabama and then him being in Oklahoma. We don't know if he's going to be a runner or a thrower. I spent this whole time talking about Jalen Hurts because the team goes and he goes. He needs to be more consistent. The Washington Redskins, the Washington football team has been a little disappointing. I've expected a little more from them, but I don't know why, honestly, to tell you the truth. We give a lot of credit to that defensive line, and the defensive line is what the defensive line is. But the offense is boring, and the backside of the defense has a bunch of no-name guys that you don't expect to really come up and make plays. If they're not getting pressure on the quarterback, then they're getting beat. The Green Bay Packers have been dominant for their division and most of the conference for the most part. Kind of putting week one behind them, they've been really impressive ever since then. And it's insane to say that Aaron Rodgers has went on another MVP tour so far this season. And if he's going to win back-to-back MVPs, take this team back to the NFC Championship or further, it's a shame that he's going to be on a different team next season. So I don't think he's coming back. The Chicago Bears have been ridiculous, dysfunctional. I don't understand it at all. They're losing games and they have their best player sitting on the bench. Thank God for Andy Dalton getting hurt and Justin Fields being able to get some playing time finally and showing what he's able to do. But when is enough going to be enough for Chicago Bears? When is enough going to be enough for this front office to finally fire their head coach and give these fans something to do? Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions have been the Detroit Lions. It's what we expected from them. This team is in a rebuilding mode, and they're doing it with Jared Goff. I didn't know if they expected him to be better or to be good, but it looks like he's going to be their rebuilding quarterback. I do like their wide receivers. I'll take that. And their running backs have been solid, and they have some pieces on defense. But I'm just sad that we have to watch them on Thanksgiving. The Minnesota Vikings are fun. They're fun. A lot of fun to watch, a lot of high power. Justin Jefferson dancing all over the place. Delvin Cook not being healthy, but when he is healthy, you're shredding everybody up. And their defense being just good enough. Just good enough to keep them in games. I like the Minnesota Vikings a lot, and it's a shame that they're the only team that's going to be able to push the Packers even a little bit, but I don't think they can beat them. Sorry. Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to be a problem for the NFC. Point blank period. I don't need 30 seconds to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I'll give it a shot. Tom Brady's been Tom Brady. He's been amazing. Their receivers have been amazing. Gronk looks like he's 20 plus again. Their defense have been dominant. Even though they've been a little banged up in the secondary, they've had some guys that come off the bench and perform. What can I say? The Bucs is going to be deep into the playoffs. All the Saints has look like they can push some teams. One day they look like they can score a lot, and some days they struggle. What I would say about this team is they need to feature Alvin Kamara more. Hands down, Alvin Kamara is the best player on the team, both sides of the ball. There's no shot that he should be getting less than 20 carries in any game. You need to feed that man and feed that man thoroughly, whether it's handling the ball off or throwing to it. But shout out to the defense. They've been surprising a lot. The Panthers got off to a fast start. A lot of people were thinking the Carolina Panthers would be a lottery team this season. That doesn't look to be the case. It looks like they're going to be here and there entrenched. I knew that Sam Darnold was an extremely talented quarterback, and just being with the Jets was a bad situation for him. But he's turned this franchise around and made them look good. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention their defense and how solid they played. And they've been very consistent throughout. So I look forward to the Falcons might be one of the worst teams in football. They got Kyle Pitts, I think, with the 4th pick overall. And it's looking like they're going to be having another top 5 selection this coming draft this season. It's not much to say about the Falcons. They should have went with their first mind and got them a replacement quarterback for Matt Ryan, because he looked like he just got out of the washing machine. And his jersey's still wrinkled. So it's not much to write about here with the Falcons. They'll be a top. The Rams have looked very solid with Matthew Stafford under the center. They look like a high-powered offense, and it's going to be hard to score with them. Now that I'm doing this, I can see that the NFC got a lot of teams that put up a lot of points. They're going to make that their playoffs is going to be extremely entertaining. And the Rams, I think, is going to be an NFC Championship team. The way that they're looking right now, they'll at least make it to that game. They play well on both sides of the ball. But what Matthew Stafford the Seattle Seahawks have been different. They've been different. And I don't know what's going on with DK Metcalf. He hasn't really made his imprint this season. And that offensive line can't let Russ cook at all this season. The defense still looks as bad as it did last season. I like the Seahawks because they're going to always be competitive as long as Russell Wilson at quarterback. But sheesh, some games they look bad and some games they look good. I don't really know. San Francisco 49ers have not made up their mind who's going to be their starting quarterback. Yeah, Jimmy G's go out. He starts every game. But Trey Lance is taking touches. Trey Lance still gets snaps. And I think the sooner that they turn the reins over to him, the better off they're going to be. This division is dominated by its top teams, and I don't think the 49ers is one of them. But they have to get Deebo Samuel going. I know he had a big game on Sunday. They need more of that. The Arizona Cardinals have been one of the best teams in football. Kyler Murray looks like one of the bbest quarterbacks in football. DeAndre Hopkins looks like one of the best wide receivers in football. So much respect to the Arizona Cardinals and what they've been able to do. They're a lightning spark, and they're another fun offense that's just fun to watch. Team that's running around and flinging it all over the place. I have a lot of respect for what the Cardinals been able to do this season and how dominant they've looked. All right, and there you have it. I covered every single team in the NFL, 30 seconds for each team. That was not easy, I can tell you that. But we got through it, and I got to talk about each and every team that's in the league. So now it's time for the comment of the day. Which one of these teams do you think that I have the common misconception about? Which one is better than I thought would be better, and which ones you think can make a playoff push at the end of the season? So if this is the type of content you like, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you comment on the comment of the day. I'll be checking you out down at the bottom. And make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. So other than that, I'm out, man. I appreciate y'all. I'll catch you in the next one.